Welcome everyone. Amazing to be here in this crowd. I feel the energy, lots of people, familiar faces. So let's get started. So the topic of my talk is trust. And I have an exercise for you. Let's get into it. So get up your feet and please hug your neighbor. Okay, so now, amazing. How did that feel? I hope it was a good experience. However, it might feel awkward sometimes to get told and brought into this uncomfortable situation. You can sit down again. So, thanks. Thanks for being open. Amazing. So this happens many times in transitions, transformations. And you get told what to do, and you don't really know why now, and what's going on, and you're thrown into it. And so this is not how you should be doing it. It would be better if I would have told you what it does to your stress level, to your hormones, to your health, well-being, to get a good hug, right? And maybe all the advantages it has to network and to introduce you to the exercise a bit better. So having said this, the first pillar is declare your intent. The second is signal your behavior. And the third is deliver the behavior. It sounds simple, and it is simple. However, sometimes we tend to skip steps. So who of you has been trying to drive a change in your work environment? Hands up. And who of you experienced to struggle with it? Okay, so I see equal hands going up. Thanks for this openness. I also struggled with it, and today I will share some real stories where I struggled, where I was successful as well, and also I hope I can give you some practical advice, which you can take with you. So that's me. I've been in the tech industry for 14 years now, in various roles, as Antonia mentioned, in various companies, startups, scale-ups, bigger corporations, as you can see on the slide. And now I'm essentially doing leadership coaching, team development to empower I call it product creation leaders to effectively drive good business outcomes without burning out. Now comes the next exercise. So imagine a situation. First of all, trust is like currency. So if it's not there, you feel it immediately. Things are energy draining and take time. And it's sometimes awkward, as in the first exercise. So imagine a situation where there was distrust in a relationship of your coworker, your boss, or peer. And how did it feel? How was the communication going? How well did you collaborate? And how fast could you make progress together? And now let's switch gears and imagine the opposite. So imagine a coworker relationship where there was high trust. How did that feel? How did you communicate? How did you enjoy the interaction, maybe? So the moment there is suspicion about a person's motive, everything she or he does becomes tainted. And I hope you can felt the difference between the two imaginations, experiences you got. So let's look at the economics of trust. So if trust is low, what happens? Things go really slow, and the cost is very high. You need to put a lot of effort because you're paying a hidden trust tax. And unfortunately, a trust tax isn't anywhere stated explicitly, so it's intransparent. You even are oftentimes not aware of it. And it's hard to be aware of it because people won't tell you. So now, if trust is very high, things go very fast because you get a trust dividend. And it's very easy because it just flows. Having said this, if you have a high trust culture, what happens? So collaboration gets easier, stakeholder management gets easier, any partnership gets easier, innovation is better. Many good results come from it. And not only this, also we are more productive, the well-being of the employees are better, and so forth. So there are many advantages related to this equation. So let's get back to the structure. Declare your intent, we'll start with this. And I'll share a story of mine where I struggle to declare my intent. So oftentimes, people interpret with their own perceptions, with their own paradigms, what our intent could be and why we're doing things. So it's through their lenses, and we need to be aware how others can perceive our intent. So we need to control it in the best possible way. So we need to declare it very explicitly, very unambiguously, very clearly. And in my story, I struggled because I didn't do a good job in making my own motive, my agenda, my intent transparent. So so my intent was, I wanted to have a synergy between my team and another team because I saw obviously overlap and I saw potential synergies. But this wasn't how it got interpreted. So people mistrusted me. I got overrun by mistrust of the other team because they were thinking I just wanted to get more direct reports. They were interpreting and they felt threatened by my good intent because obviously it evolved differently in their perception. So this was a hard time, and you can rebuild trust. It just takes effort. There are also steps to do it in a very pragmatic, actionable way. So what are success factors for this first pillar? So one is being clear on your goal. So intent starts with yourself, self-clarification. It's inner work. And you need to be very clear on this. Many times in a business environment, you're not asked, what do you really want? You, yourself, genuinely. But in order to be strong with it, this is the work you need to clarify first. And then it's exploring what your leadership team wants. So getting the buy-in. And additionally, explore this empathetically. Listen attentively so you're able to repeat what you understood from your key stakeholders, from your leadership team, what they want, the direction they want the company to develop. And then if you merge your own intent, your goals, and the goals of the others, and you merge both together, what happens? You create a baseline and an overlap and a shared interest. And suddenly you can express what's the benefit of your intent for the others. And this is exactly what you should watch out for and practice. So every good transition or transformation, I prefer the word transition, it's more realistic, starts with a proper assessment. And I was lucky to have a CPO, Jens Dembski at Coach Hub, who expected from me to start my employment, my new role, spending some weeks even for a proper holistic assessment. And what I came up with was, I call it product organization capability self-assessment. And so this was the internal view from the product managers, engineering managers, product designers, how they self-assess themselves on various categories like team culture, team practices, customer focus, product focus, and team environment. And I did this with a Likert scale, so strongly agree until strongly disagree. And I got results, and I had a pretty decent analysis of the status quo. Also a baseline to start. And also, I would say a credible baseline, because why would over 50 people lie? Now you can argue there might be some data people here in this audience, and I love data people. Who, maybe you put your hands up? Yeah, okay, a few. And some hybrid, yeah. So I got questioned, so why is a survey reliable? It's fast, it has many advantages. It's fast, it's cheap, and it's very straightforward to interpret the data. Whereas system data, like technical system data, is harder to interpret, and until you have it up and running, the world changed already. So even the DevOps research and assessment, they also use surveys, over 100 statements, qualitative statements, like I did. So, and I did the other perspective from the stakeholders' perspective. So these were the dimensions I was asking them to assess. When I joined CoachUp, the trust in the product and tech organization was very low. And I found out also because I didn't only do the Likert scale, but I also did some qualitative, deeper, open-ended questions around, okay, how do you perceive the collaboration of your department and the product organization? With product organization, I mean product creation, so product, tech, data, design. And yeah, I found out some weak spots, so I asked also what are the opportunities to improve. I interviewed all VPs of the entire company, of all customer-facing departments. So again, around about 50 people.
Is it your assessment, or did you took it from?
This was mine because, as I mentioned before, it was based on the conversations with the leadership team, which direction they want to move the company, and I also would encourage to come up with your customized one because none of the companies are the same. So don't take templates. You can get inspiration, but not more than this. I also got inspiration, of course. Don't reinvent the wheel. So the next step is, the next pillar is signal your behavior. And let's go back to the initial exercise, which when I asked you to hug the neighbor. Let's do it another time, but now I give you a different instruction. So I signal it differently what is likely to happen. So please pair up with one of your neighbors and please stand up. We'll repeat the exercise. And now look into the eyes, just smile, and maybe if you feel like it, you can shake hands, whatever. You can talk. You can introduce yourself. All right, thank you. Thanks, everyone. Okay, so I hope by now you understand a bit where I'm going. So I didn't tell you directly the result I want to have, which is the hug, yeah? But I leave you open room. Thanks. So now I hope you had a different experience. So I hope it felt a bit less awkward than at the beginning, because I hope I signaled the behavior better. So, and I hope you established better trust now, even if it was too short, I know. So based on my assessment, I did an opportunity solution tree, which is essentially objectives, opportunity, solutions. And I did this in order to make my agenda transparent to the leadership team and to my own team. And we saw every solution as bad, so we could clearly indicate, okay, next we will try this. And based on the weak spots of my assessment, I could clearly select which opportunities to address to have a deeper impact and less and more focus. So I loved Lean Six Sigma. It's my professional socialization, so I'll not go through it, but essentially this is always the model I use or come back to. Define, measure, analyze, improve, control. You can choose different words. Analyze can be learn, improve, can be built capabilities, collective capabilities of an organization, and this is reassess and see if you progressed, and then hopefully celebrate. Models are good to signal intent. So people knew, what is my intent behind this assessment? I explicitly stated it's not to evaluate any individual performance. It's not to compare teams. I needed to be very clear on this. And that's why people trusted to give me all the insights. So a short anecdote where I also struggled because I skipped the step, a step in the process. And so when I joined CoachUp, they struggled measuring the impact of their solutions. So measuring the impact on user behavior. So I directly jumped to a solution, which was, obviously we need a North Star metric workshop series, and I had one in mind how to run it, and I was very happy. However, I forgot to involve tech leaders sufficiently. Also, for practical reasons, I thought 12 people in a workshop is sufficient, but it turned out that this wasn't a good idea because they were not included, they were not involved, and even if the results were very essential and important and good, they missed half the way through. So, having said this, I'll quickly go through, for those who are not familiar with the framework, what's the North Star? It's an overarching metric where people can align their input metrics. It expresses customer value, represents vision and strategy, is a leading indicator for success and revenue. It's actionable, so we can directly influence it. It's understandable, that all colleagues understand, so simple language. It's measurable, so we can instrument our products to track it, so product analytics, and it's not, it's meaningful and valuable. So I used this checklist. We were successfully nailing it. We had some meaningful input metrics, even more leading indicators to impact it. CoachUp is a platform, so we came up with 3 North Stars, so for each user group, coach, coachee, and HR people. And the result was we came up with good dashboards together with data scientists in the team. Data engineers helped me building the meaningful dashboards. We populated the dashboards, we explained the metric definitions in the company, and I also organized some trainings to educate product managers to self-serve from the business intelligence platform to get the insights they needed and tweak the data to be useful for them. And I missed this step, so there was mistrust. Positive examples. Quarterly objective briefing. We had a massive struggle in focus of the teams. So there were hundreds of initiatives. Investors were saying, it's all important. Some of you might be familiar with it. So I asked the CPO and Jens Dembski and the CTO Thanos Karpoutzis to come up to narrow it down for us as a briefing. And they did amazingly well. So they took the challenge, hopefully because the assessment was proper, so they got the evidence that focus was lacking. And they did a weighted scorecard. It was really solid, worked out, well explained. They recorded their explanations, clarifications in the videos, shared it, and I organized the Q&A sessions. Everyone was on the same page, so it worked out. Quarterly alignment day. This is a practice I got to know thanks to Joaf Flam, sitting in the background at NWN6. We were running it there 5 years back. And then at CoachUp I was doing something similar, inviting all departments who have demand to product creation and explaining their most important needs face-to-face to all product trios at once and getting everyone on the same page. Usually in stakeholder management, it's very narrow. You have just a proportion of these stakeholders. In this way, we got an overview and even more empathy because they were bringing some videos with them, well explained, well prepared. So this was also signaling the behavior I was expecting from the stakeholders to come prepared with good content, good videos. And all the product trios absorbed attentively their pain points. And we came back to them later on and said, look, thanks for the input. We will share our plans based on this input later. And we did this with consistent product communication. There are various ways. We used product board portal cards, a slide deck which I sent quarterly, which sellers could directly send to their prospects. So it was kind of in signaling the behavior of the company, how the product will evolve in the upcoming quarter, fostering trust on their side, making it easy for sales to have something ready to be sent out. And the last step, deliver behavior. So it's important that what you feel with intent, what you think, what you say, and what you do is congruent. Also as an organization, also as a team, also as a company. Many times, if it's not congruent, it causes confusion and irritation and mistrust. Let's look at the results of the survey. Align priorities, we increased it. So I did this massive survey every 6 months. And I got better at it, so I could do it faster because it was already designed. And then over the course of 6 months, we improved the perception of how well we aligned our priorities by 15%. I think it's significant. So this was assessed by stakeholders. And this was the statement I asked. Cross-functionality increased by 24%. So between product, design, and engineers. Team focus, thanks to the quarterly objectives briefing, I think this was a massive increase in satisfaction. So 44% agreed more to this statement. I use a clear set of criteria to prioritize product initiatives and enabling us to say no to distractions. Product comms, the stakeholders felt more informed by 16%. Dependable delivery, I'm satisfied with the dependability of the product and tech teams' delivered solutions. And now, this I attribute to the North Star Metric workshop series. 28% strategy contributions. I did also all these connections of opportunities and outcomes and metrics. So people were very clear how everything is connected, which I was very happy about. Positive impact. So this was how stakeholders perceived the solutions we built got a more positive impact for the end users or for the business. Improved by 31%. Are these statements perfect? No, they are not. You can ever improve them. However, it's important they stay consistent, otherwise you can't compare and benchmark later on. Measuring impact, improved by 38%. So we knew better how we could impact user behavior with our solutions through product analytics and dashboards. So let's wrap up. In the first example, I did declare my intent. I didn't signal my behavior to all my key stakeholders well enough. I delivered the workshops. I yielded good results, but the trust wasn't equally established everywhere. And this has a long-term impact. You can change it, but it takes time. You will pay your trust tax. And on the other hand, for all the quarterly planning things, we changed to 6 weekly later. I checked all the boxes. And this I realized in the reflection afterwards. It's not that in the process I was so aware of it. But since I follow this process, I'm more aware of it, and it helped me a lot in my last job. So, in a nutshell, this is the summary of my talk. And yeah, if you're intrigued to dive deeper, let me know. I'm just one call away from you. Scan this QR code if you want to reach out. I'm very glad if we can exchange ideas, experiences. I'm Pierre-Christophe Poyot. I'm guiding you through Trustworthy Transitions if you want. Beyond this, I'm coaching and developing leadership teams to establish more trust, master better conflict, embrace accountability, and get better results. So you find me on brightenup.work. OneCamp is the new consultancy we will be starting, and you find all my contacts and links with this QR code. I look forward to network.